Judge William Prescott loved to show power. If you were rich or well-connected, he treated you with respect. But if you looked like Naomi Caldwell, an older black woman from the neighborhood, he treated you like nothing. Today, Naomi walked into his courtroom, dressed in a worn navy hoodie and gray sweatpants, sneakers scuffed from years of walking, her hair pulled back simply. To anyone else, she looked ordinary, tired, maybe even weak. But Naomi wasn't weak. She was sharp, experienced. And what Prescott didn't know was that this ordinary-looking woman wasn't just a citizen. She was a Supreme Court justice, one of the most powerful people in the country. As she approached the bench, Prescott smirked. "Miss Caldwell," he said, trying to hide his amusement, "you're aware this is a court of law, not a grocery store checkout?" The courtroom laughed softly, thinking he was clever, but Naomi didn't flinch. Her calm eyes scanned the room, noting every detail: the fidgeting bailiff, the distracted clerk, the confused young woman waiting for her fine to be heard. Every little disrespect, every little arrogance, they all added fuel to the fire inside her. And Naomi had a plan. A plan to expose Prescott's arrogance and corruption, using the law in a way he would never expect. Today, he thought he was mocking a weak woman. Today, he had no idea he was about to meet true justice. Oak Creek's courthouse was old. The air was heavy with the smell of old floor wax, stale coffee, and nervous sweat. Naomi sat quietly in the back row, her hands folded, watching everything. She wasn't there for herself. She was there for Jamal, her nephew, who Prescott had unfairly punished. 2 weeks earlier, Naomi's niece had called in tears. "Auntie," she sobbed, "he didn't even listen. He gave Jamal the maximum sentence for a first-time offense. He called him a thug." Naomi's heart tightened. She knew the system was broken, but seeing it affect her own family made it personal. She had taken a leave of absence from the Supreme Court. She told her staff she was going on a vacation. In reality, she was walking into Prescott's courtroom, armed not with anger, but with strategy. Prescott was already in his element, leaning back, smirking at anyone who dared step before him. He thought the courtroom was his kingdom. Naomi didn't care. She had filed a small, deliberate zoning case against a property she owned. A case so trivial that Prescott would see it as beneath him. But this was the trap. When Naomi was called to the defendant's table, she walked slowly, confidently, and looked Prescott directly in the eye. He blinked, confused at the calm authority in her voice. "Naomi Caldwell," she said softly. Prescott's smirk widened. "Miss Caldwell, you're aware of the dress code?" he sneered, pointing at her casual clothes. Naomi tilted her head, calm and collected. "I am, Your Honor. My focus today is on justice, not fashion." The courtroom chuckled, thinking she was nervous. But Naomi wasn't nervous. She was ready. Prescott wasted no time. He banged the gavel, dismissing the trivial case. He mocked her, ignored the proper procedure, and tried to humiliate her in front of everyone. Naomi let him speak. She listened. Every word, every laugh, every smug glance. And then quietly, she began to point out the errors in his ruling. "You cannot impose a punitive fine without an evidentiary hearing," she said. Her voice was calm, steady. "It's a violation of the 14th Amendment." The room went silent. Prescott laughed, thinking she was joking. "14th Amendment? Who do you think you are?" Naomi's eyes didn't waver. "I am someone who ensures justice is upheld, and today that starts with you, William Prescott." For the first time, Prescott's confidence wavered. Naomi had recorded his arrogance, his mockery, every unfair ruling, all on a small digital recorder in her hoodie pocket. She had all the evidence he needed to end his career. Prescott bellowed, ordered her removed, called contempt of court, and Mitchum, the bailiff, tried to drag her away. Naomi didn't resist. She walked calmly, maintaining eye contact, showing him the power he had underestimated. In the holding cell, she comforted a young woman and another older woman, ensuring they understood their rights and that justice would prevail. She didn't just fight Prescott, she fought for everyone he had trampled. Back in Prescott's chambers, the news broke. Calls from the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the governor, all asking about the defendant who had been held in contempt. Prescott was stunned. The casual, ordinary woman he mocked was Supreme Court Justice Naomi Caldwell. Naomi walked in. He tried to maintain composure, but it was gone. She didn't yell. She didn't need to. The quiet, firm authority in her voice and presence filled the room. "You thought I was just a zoning violator," she said softly. "You treated me like cattle. But I am someone who upholds the law. Someone who sees your corruption for what it is." Prescott's knees shook. I didn't know," he stammered. Naomi raised an eyebrow. "Ignorance is no excuse, and your arrogance will not be tolerated." In minutes, Prescott was arrested by FBI agents. Naomi's plan had succeeded. The man who mocked and humiliated the powerless was exposed, powerless himself. The courthouse erupted in murmurs. Lawyers, clerks, and citizens realized what had just happened. Naomi didn't boast. She didn't gloat. She simply walked out, head high, in her hoodie and sneakers, showing that true authority doesn't need grandeur. She freed Becky, the young woman in the cell, canceled the fines, and ensured that the innocent and vulnerable were protected. Her nephew Jamal was safe. Outside, the press captured every moment. Naomi smiled faintly. Justice had been done, not for glory, but for fairness. Oak Creek would never forget the day a quiet, ordinary-looking woman in sweatpants humbled a corrupt judge. People realized that true power lies not in arrogance, but in knowledge, preparation, and courage. Naomi returned to Washington, but her actions sent a message. Justice belongs to the people. No one is too small to fight corruption. No one is too old or ordinary to make a difference. And as she walked into the sunlight, hoodie up, sneakers scuffed, she knew something simple yet profound. Courage is quiet, but its impact echoes forever.